Hello, dear learners. I am Dr. Kaveri, Professor, Department of Political Science, Christu Jayanti College. Today, I'm going to explain you something about Henri Fayol, like what are his contributions towards the administration, and the major elements that he has given for the management, and he's popularly known for his 14 principles. So, let's just quickly begin with his introduction. So, Henri Fayol is one of the renowned uh, personality in the public administration. He's also been referred as the father of management theory. And he worked at the French mining company, and then he became a general manager, and then he was being promoted as an organization director. He was born in 1841 amidst of the eruption of the Industrial Revolution in a suburb of the Constantinople. And his father was a military engineer and was appointed as a superintendent of works to build a Gloucester Bridge across the Golden Horn. And his family returned to France in 1847, where Fayol was graduated. And at the age of 18, as I already mentioned you, that he joined as an engineer in a company, and later on he got promoted as the organization director. So, Henry Fayol also wrote a book on the management theories and work organizations, and he introduced the theories that could be applied at all the levels of any department that we are having. Now, quickly, let's look in terms of the functions of the management that we have. So, Henry Fayol has given 5 elements to the management, like his primarily studies is focused on the last activity, which is being called as a managerial activity. And he identified the 5 major elements of the management that depicts the expected behavior that managers should engage in to achieve the business objectives of the organization effectively. So the first 5 elements which are being highlighted here in the PPT, as you can see, that is planning, organizing, commanding, coordinating, and controlling. So let's see what exactly the planning is. So we always say that planning is the most important managerial function. It is the future oriented exercise to creating a business plan, determining the different stages to execute and track the plan, and define the technology and resources necessary to implement the plan. Planning is all about identifying in the advance but needs to be done, how it will be done, and what are the timelines and the responsibilities for the execution. So planning becomes very, very important. So the outcome of the planning function is logical goals and their timelines. Managers should engage both in short range and long term planning. So let's look in terms of the second element that we have is organizing. So what exactly is organizing? So that means once the planning is being done, okay, now it is ready for organization. So managers have the visibility of what is expected and by when. So to achieve these milestones, they need to solve various, the work for various resources, assign them an appropriate task. They need to focus on providing everything necessary to carry out the plan, including the raw materials, it could be the machineries, it could be, or the tools, capital, funds, and human resources. So all these things he has to organize. And coming to the third one that we talk about is commanding. So managers need to implement the plan by efficiently utilizing the allocated resources. They must understand the strength and weakness of their workforce and the limitations of resources in the hand. So manager must lead and motivate the employees to achieve the goals of the organization. Employees may require the proper allocation of the resources and the effective support system and the supervisors. So let's look into the next one, that is we have a coordinating, or we can also call it as a coordination. So organizations are interdependent systems and need coordination among the different departments to stay in sync and targeted on the plans. So what is the responsibility of the manager? So manager's biggest responsibility is to harmonize all required activities across different functions to facilitate and ensure organization success as per the agreed plans. So manager needs good communication skill to ensure that the coordinating machineries or the mechanism is working effectively. So after coordination, next we talk about the controlling. So the final element of the management is described by Henri Fayol, is the comparison of the activities of the personnel to the plan of action. It is a control of evaluating component of the management. Control functions ensures that the tasks have been completed with the required quality in all the areas and helps to direct deviations if any forms of organization plans. This ensures the quality performance with regards to the business objectives and satisfactory results while maintaining an orderly and a problem-free environment. So let's move on to the next one, that is we call it as the principles of management. So Henri Fayol has developed the 14 principles of management towards the tail end of the Industrial Revolution. So his 14 principles looks at an organization from the top-down approach to help the managers to get the best from the employees and run the business with the ease. So let's look into them and understand in detail. So very first thing he spoke is about the division of the work. So the Henri Fayol's first principle of management is based on the theory of employees is given a specific task to do it. So if the work has been divided, it becomes easy because as the person keeps on doing the work, he becomes expertise in that. So obviously what is going to happen is that with this division of work, one, the work has been divided, and then continuously, spontaneously, you keep working on the same thing again and again, then you become expertise in that, and it's quite natural that you become efficient, and that is going to help in terms of improving the production in the company. The next one is about the authority and the responsibility. So when we talk about authority and responsibility, we say that these two are like two faces of the same coin. Authority without responsibility is impossible. Authority goes hands in hand with the responsibility. So Henri Fayol's principle of management states that manager need to have the necessary authority in order to ensure that his instructions are carried out by the employees. If the manager did not have any authority, then it becomes very difficult for him to fulfill his responsibilities as well. So according to Henri Fayol, there should be a balance between authority and responsibility. If there is more authority than responsibility, the employee will get frustrated. So if there is more responsibility than authority, the manager will feel frustrated. So that's why we say that authority and responsibility should go hand in hand. The next, coming to the third principle of management that we see is the discipline. So the principle of discipline states that it is very important in an organization in order to have a disciplined employees, the manager need to build a culture of a mutual respect. So after that, we have the next element, what we call it as unity of command. So according to Henri Fayol, an employee should receive orders from only one manager. If an employee works under more managers, then the authority, discipline and stability are threatened because the subordinates do not know whom to obey. So that's the reason why where he talks about having a unity of command. And the next principle that we see is the unity of direction. And according to this principle, he says that management states that the work to be done should be organized in such a way that employees work in harmony towards the same objective using one plan and under the direction of one manager. Coming to the next one, that we talk about the subordination of individual interest to the general interest. So here what happens, the manager always has to look for the perspective of the growth of an organization. So wherever it is possible, like supposing if it is individual interest, if you are giving more prominence to your individual interest by surrendering the general interest, then the company will not progress. So as a result, what he suggests is that individual has to sacrifice his personal interest when it comes in terms of the general interest of the people. So let's move on to the next one, which we talk about the remuneration. So according to this principle, employees should be paid for the fair wages for the work that they carry out. Any organization that underpays its work will struggle to motivate and keep the quality workers. This remuneration should include both financial as well as the non-financial incentives. Coming to the next one, we talk about the centralization and decentralization. So where we say centralization, it means where the concentration of power under single hand, and decentralization, it means where the powers are being decentralized, the powers are being divided into two. The next one that we have is a scalar chain. Scalar chain is also being referred as a hierarchy, but here Henri Fayol uses the concept of the scalar chain, which refers that the chain of communication between the employees and their superiors. So employees should know where they stand in the hierarchy of an organization and to whom to go for the chain of command as well. So coming to the next one is order. So the principle states that this particular principle called order states that there should be an orderly placement of the resources. Like, for example, you have manpower, it could be money, it could be material, etc. in the right place and at the right time. So this ensures the proper use of the resources in a structured fashion. Anytime if you find there is a misplacement of these resources, and definitely it will lead for a misuse and disorder in an organization. Coming to the next one that we have is equity. So when you talk about the equity, we say that equity is a combination of kindness and justice. So this principle states that the manager should use kindliness and justice towards everyone they manage. This creates a loyalty and devotion among the employees towards the organization they work for. Coming to the next one, he speaks about the stability and tenure of the personnel. That means if your job is secured, if you find that you're a permanent employee, then you don't have to worry about what is going to happen in your future. That's what he says, that this principle talks about that the organization, there should not be too much of turnout. The sacking of the job should not be there. So employees' job should be having a stability. So only then they'll feel confident enough and doing the work. Coming to the next one is we talk about the initiative. So when we talk about the initiative, we say that this principle states that all the employees should be encouraged to show initiative. So when employees have to say as to how best they can do their job, they feel motivated and respected. Coming to the next and the last one that we have is esprit de corps. So when we talk about the esprit de corps, it literally means the team spirit. So team spirit is a great source of strength in the organization. Happy and motivated employees are more likely to be productive and efficient. I hope the things are very much clear. So thank you so much.